This is Thaddeus Day and Angela Armstrong with Bar Talk, August 3rd, the beginning of phase 4. Can you hear me, Angela? Okay. So I've got to move to another computer here. All right. As many of you that are tuning in and may have been checking the new releases for what's changed in phase 4 for the judicial branch, there are two updates. One was an update on the COVID management plan, and I think the key takeaway from that is that you need to wear cloth face coverings. There is a mention of specifically what won't be heard by the court, and you've got some great bullets there that Angela put together for us on the slide. The other big change was on July 29th, PMO SJC 7 was published. And what that does is it kind of changes the format of things. It essentially says the presumed format for court proceedings is going to be remote proceedings, either by video or by telephone. Now, they have proceedings that they list they want to be held in person, but they also may be held remotely if so requested. So essentially, what it's doing is just like with our remote depositions, it seems to be shifting the norm to remote proceedings. And I'm guessing this must be on the back of all these Zoom licenses that Chief Need mentioned he was getting in our when he was last on Bar Talk a few weeks ago. So it's pretty exciting, I think, because it's a big change, and if the court's not starting to schedule it, sounds like you can ask for it to be scheduled. So for those that want to take a look at that, we provided a link for it. And we also provided a link to the direction that came out from Region 1, which is York County, on handling PC cases. And for all of you that might handle PC cases or ancillary cases to them, you've got those available. Now, we wanted to have this segment, and we will bring more information to the table as we get it, and we'll have some updates for you, of course, next week on anything new that has come up or questions that come up that get answered in the process of implementation. And I guess I should say one more thing. You'll also notice when you read these, the two, PMO SJC 7, but also the new COVID-19 release phase management plan pushes out phase 5 to October 19th. So that's a change too from September. So for all of those people that do disclosures, it looks like it's going to be pushed off some more. And then, of course, those few other cases that are listed too. When Chief Judge French was on last week, someone had asked about, Rule 80K proceedings. Those are being pushed off. So there's a list there on that phase management plan also. So we wanted to have this meeting or Bar Talk focused on renewal of not only your bar license or your bar registration, but also renewal of your membership to the MSBA. And both are very important to all of us, and we wanted to bring on a guest. So was there anything you wanted to add, Angela, to what we have just addressed regarding emergency management orders, pandemic management orders?
The only thing I'll point out, you can see the links here, but they're also available on the MSBA website under the COVID-19 update page as well. So you can easily access them there.
And Angela, we kind of had one dangling question out there for the last couple of weeks, and that was on closed captioning for these new Zoom licenses that the court's getting. Have we heard back yet on that?
I got a confirmation that it would be checked on today, but I have not gotten the actual answer.
Okay.
So, still waiting.
So they're still wrestling with that issue, it sounds like.
I don't know if anybody really knows, and I think it's I personally think it is available on Zoom, but I've never played with it, so I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, they may not know the answer, but they should get back to us and let us know that too. So, all right.
They will today.
Sounds good. Thank you. So we have Aria E on. Is she on? As our special guest?
She's on.
I am. Yes. Yes.
Oh, I hear her voice.
Yes. Just
all right.
Aria,
yes. We asked you to join us again, and I really appreciate you being available as a resource for us, especially to talk about, we've got a deadline coming up, I believe, for our main members of the bar of August 31st, right?
That's right. That's right. Thanks, Thad. And thanks to y'all for having me. It allows us to make sure that we cover all the spectrum of our memberships, yours and ours. But yes, August 31st is the deadline for registration. It's all online, of course, and your registration link, you would have received that via an email. So, the portal to get in to your bar access would be via email from us. There were no physical letters. So say you're sitting in your office listening to me drone on, perhaps to you, and thinking that you never received anything from the Bar of Overseers, or every time you get one of our emails, you're still scared, even though we keep telling you not to be scared. Please open that up, because it allows you to renew your license, and we want you to renew it before August 31st. As well as your regular law license, if you serve as a guardian ad litem, now is also your season to register. So, and that you would have received a communication from us about registration, and your confirmation for guardian ad litem will be via letter, because there's far less lawyers who are guardians than there are member lawyers. So that is a much easier process to keep track of. And in terms of your confirmation, you will notice from your registration, when you're doing your regular lawyer registration, that you have to go through some steps, including designating a proxy. And now's a great time to check in with your proxy and ensure that that person is still willing to serve, and update your office protocols to ensure that your passwords are all current, and that if, let's not even make it a disaster. Let's just say that you were going to take the month of August off and go up to Jackman or Greenville and really vacate during your vacation. And your proxy is, and I'm going to look at Andy Zuleave, who's a friend of mine. I can see him. Hey, Andy, waving to you. Let's say Andy's your proxy. Excuse me. Andy could walk into your office and manage that office if he needed to. That's really the goal of designating a proxy. You won't be able to advance in your registration process till you do that. So please take those steps. And with the guardian ad litem registration, you don't have to nominate a proxy. And of course, there are non-lawyer guardian ad litems that also register through our office. Picking up on Thad and Angela's comments regarding remote hearings, at the Board of Overseers, the Grievance Commission is also conducting its hearings, as well as the Fee Arbitration Commission, via remote access. So if you have any questions about those, you can see those, any hearings. We have a reinstatement hearing coming up involving Gary Perlman. I know that that's in later August. That's on our website. If you are a petitioner or a respondent in a fee matter, that's also occurring via remote. So there are no live hearings for the foreseeable future at the administrative level at the board. You may be aware that our Professional Ethics Commission has been hard at work this year, and so they have issued a new opinion, which is on our website, 223, addressing, and I may have that number wrong as soon as I said that. I think it might be 222, but in any event, you'll see it. It's the latest opinion, and more importantly, the substantive question it addresses is whether or not lawyers who are applying to a prosecutorial office, at what stage does that become a personal conflict for them? So check that out. It's an excellent opinion. Of course, they all are. And it provides some much needed guidance to the bar, which may or may not be consistent with the prosecutorial office's policies in hiring new candidates or hiring new employees. So that's always something to keep in mind. We obviously don't require, nor can we, have particular requirements of law offices or entities who are hiring. We are just advising the Professional Ethics Commission and Bar Counsel's office, as well as when I provide informal advice. We're all just providing advice that relates to a particular lawyer's conduct, or as is interpreted from the PEC side, as interpreted by the the PEC's interpretation of the professional ethics rules. And then the ABA has issued a couple of important opinions recently, one in June and one in July. We have blasted about those recently, and the one that may be of interest, particularly all that's to continue the discussions on racial equality and social justice, and the differing opinions we have across that spectrum. The ABA has issued an opinion interpreting Model Rule 8.4G. So take a look at that, and we sent you a link to that opinion. It's also on the ABA's website. So some good guidance for lawyers, particularly as you've heard me speak before on the harassment and discrimination CLEs, that if you are an employer, a legal employer, or you are obviously a legal office providing services to the public, you are a public accommodation, and you should be fully aware of how the Maine Human Rights Act, employment laws, and the professional conduct rules all intersect to provide you guidance about how to conduct yourself in your legal practice when looking at these issues. And then we have a couple of exciting things to talk about. There's a new opinion that's in draft from the Professional Ethics Commission that hopefully will be released in September, if not maybe October, about, for many of you who do criminal law and child protective law, the effective assistance of counsel questions and when you can waive confidentiality as it applies to your clients. So that's an important new opinion that will be issued in the coming months, 1 to 2 months. So keep a lookout for that. And then lastly, we're going to, we have a CLE that DA Andy Robinson and I are working on together that we're hosting on August 13 as a webinar. And that's, I think we're calling it, first thing we do is advise all the lawyers, but it is really to talk about basic technological proficiencies for lawyers. So making sure to redact appropriately, dealing with metadata, software questions, those kinds of things. And Andy's a great presenter. I'm thrilled to join with him again in this presentation to y'all. There's about 38 spots left for that sign up, and the link is on our website. And lastly, I want to just put in a plug. If you want to make, I'd ask you to consider making a donation to the Campaign for Justice, if you're willing to do that, and you can do that as part of your registration process. Maine attorneys have a long history of giving to its communities that where citizens and our members are not always able to afford legal services. So the Maine Justice Foundation is a good supplement to assist those Mainers in need. And I think that's it for my list. Sorry if it went too long. I had a lot. It's been a while, but thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Aria. And I appreciate all the hard work you guys do over at the Board of Bar Overseers. Was there a segue? Oh, so I did have a question for you, Aria, before we segue into the MSBA's report with Angela.
I knew you would that.
So there's no COVID-19 extension on our deadline for August 31st?
There is not. There is not. And I will, we'll do another reminder to y'all on a blast. Please open your email. And if you've changed positions, or if you've gone off council and you have new email, I thank you, Thad, for giving me this. If you are a jurist and kind of in limbo because of COVID, please update your contact information, at least your email, so we can reach you. I think there's I get a fair amount of bounce backs when we do an email blast. So the only way we're going to reach you is via email. And please go right onto the website, our website, and at least give us your updated email address so we can get important information to you.
And I think that I think you alluded to this too, Aria. One of the things I noticed is when I went on the website and I signed in with my name and password, I noticed that I could register right from there after I signed in. I didn't necessarily need a link. So
yes, I misspoke about the link. That's right.
That was very helpful. So yep. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Angela, you've got our business side updates.
Yes, sir. So good morning, everybody. Very similar to what Aria was speaking about. We're a little bit, well, hers is due August 31st, I guess. Ours opens September 1st. So that's dues renewal for the Bar Association. We are hoping that you will all continue to be a member of the Bar Association. We truly appreciate your membership, and we're here to help you, and we love getting feedback on things that we can do to make your life in practicing law better and sometimes easier. So just like the overseers, we will be sending out email reminders with links to remind you to go in and use the online portal to register for your dues. And I want to reiterate that it's important that you update your information. If you go in there and you notice that something's no longer correct because your circumstances have changed due to COVID, you're either working from home more, or you've changed jobs or whatever, please make sure you update that information in the portal. Also, I'll ask for you to consider, in addition to being a member, that you consider being a sustaining member, which helps us with a lot of the other projects we like to do, high school mock trial, blanked on what the Leadership Academy. There's several projects that we like to do. And for those that are willing to give a little bit more, $100 level for sustaining members, we really appreciate that, that support. So this year, Legal Year in Review will be held virtually. Like most of our CLEs are being held through the rest of this year, through 2020 anyway. We haven't made decisions for 2021 yet. So instead of it being a one-day event on November 19th, we will be holding it that week, November 16 through 19, and there will be so many sessions per day. I think it's 3 or 4 sessions per day that we'll be holding, and you can either pay by session or you can pay for the whole ball of wax and save a little money, and you'll get, I think you actually have the opportunity to get more credit than you might normally get because you'll be able to spread it out over several days. There will be opportunities for ethics and the H&D requirements as well, just like you would normally get at Legal Year in Review. So that registration will be opening probably another month or so. So be on the lookout for that. And again, we'll send reminders. And finally, I wanted to give a diversity committee update. Many of you have probably heard that we instituted a diversity committee that is looking at different recommendations to send to the board for approval. And we actually have a special board meeting tomorrow to talk about a couple of the recommendations, particularly the formation of a BIPOC lawyer section and the possibility of an amendment to the bylaws creating a seat for a member from that section. The committee is also looking at several other things. They're talking about tracking some demographics of the Maine Bar and publishing an annual report of those, collecting stories that will educate the bar on what some racist issues that people in the bar are facing, organizing training for the Board of Governors and the MSBA staff, working with the CLE committee to develop and present courses that discuss racism, implicit bias, and also working with the section to create a possible mentoring program. These are all ideas. The committee is going to welcome or welcomes many more ideas, and I'm sure we'll be working on a lot of other things. Another thing that they're working on is a survey to be sent out. So, and for those of you who don't know what BIPOC means, when I mentioned the section, that actually stands for Black, Indigenous, and People of Color. And unless I have any questions, I think that's all I have to share for right now. You're muted, Thad. Oh, you're muted, Thad.
Thank you. All right. So while those questions come, if they do, we can always answer the questions next week too. I just wanted to add what we have for next week is we're planning on Judge Charles Dow coming to speak with us about the rollout essentially of this phase 4 and the new PMO SJC7 and how, you know, it's going to affect at least the district court and all of the matters that it will do remotely. And possibly we'll get some insight on how to work with the clerks and work with opposing counsel on getting these remote hearings done. And just to add too, we do hope to have some great articles being published with our new version, our new edition of the Bar Journal, which is one of the great benefits that you get with your MSBA membership too. And we expect that to come out this month. And Angela? Any alibis?
No, sir.
All right. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. And please join me for being thankful for those serving in uniform too. Have a great day, great week. And we look forward to seeing you next Monday. And we look forward to seeing Judge Dow. Thanks.